Welcome to the 5G podcast.
We're glad you're here.
We hope you enjoy our conversations about God, guns, games, goals, and gastronomy.
Now sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's episode.
Yeah, our expert opinion about it, everything, right?
Everybody's tuning in here.
Yeah, we're definitely the hot take of the century here.
We're Stephen and Trevor, the 5G podcast. What do they have to say?
What does the 5G podcast have to say about the devastating attack by Hamas?
World War III.
Yeah, World War III. Shoot, I don't remember if it was Bill Ackman or Ray Dalio. Both of them are like hedge fund guys
Oh, yeah.
who have their World War III prediction meter
Oh, yeah.
at 50%.
Dang.
That is going to kick off. I don't know what their time frame is like
That's interesting.
in terms of.
I have long held the opinion. It wasn't my original opinion. It was actually from a friend of mine. But I kind of. He's been saying this since like 16-ish, though, honestly. So maybe I'd amend the start date a little bit. But he said, in the history books, we're already in World War III. It's like, when they write the history books, he's like, yeah, they're going to start talking about it like right now. So like I said, I think he said that back in like 2016. So it's like, oh, maybe I'd amend the start date to that. But right now, I definitely think it's kind of obvious.
I would disagree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Because
As far as like thinking about the build up to the previous world wars, you know,
yeah,
there was a fair amount of build up that is written about in the history books.
well, not with World War One.
Yeah,
World
you
War
can
One.
say like the alliances, like this alliance.
Yeah, but
was
that's not a build up necessarily.
No.
That's just kind of like a.
You
I
mentioned.
mean, looking back at it, you're like, oh yeah, this is a cause of it, but it wasn't like a build up. It's not like Hamas attacking Israel,
Sure.
or like Hitler invading Poland.
Yeah, and well,
Those would be
if you go
build
even further
ups.
back, you could be like, Crystal is a build up.
Yeah, it's kind of like. It's like, where do you draw the line, right?
Yeah,
because it's like, oh well, then World War One was a build up to World War Two because of the reparate, right? So it's like,
It's a good point.
is that like,
All of history is a build up.
Yeah.
To the next.
and so are we blaming Archduke Ferdinand or Hitler? Are we blaming Archduke Ferdinand for Hitler?
For
It's like,
the Holocaust. Like that's.
you have to draw the line
Are
somewhere.
we just in one big extended Cold War right now?
Well, yes,
Yes, but
yes, except it's not cold anymore. It's just neither was the Cold War.
neither was the Cold War cold, but
It was cold between the two major superpowers.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Something kind of interesting to think about. Like,
Yeah, it is.
Because we're living in the moment, but people will write history books about what we're living right now. So
Yeah. It's
kinda
what's that thing in Revelations? Here's your God section for you.
wars and rumors of
The
wars.
wars and rumors of wars stuff
Yes, it's
spread throughout the land, and the evil church will put its 2 feet on the separate or across the
yeah.
ocean or whatever.
I don't know how it is in Portuguese, but in the Spanish Bible, I'm sure you know, Revelations is actually translated to Apocalypsis.
Yeah, it's apocalypses.
Apocalypsis in Portuguese,
Yeah,
Which
that's what the actual book was called.
that's what it actually, the end times is what
Yeah.
apocalypse means.
We've
so-
just taken this word apocalypse and turned it into something it doesn't mean anything
It
besides.
just means it was John's collection of his prophecies about the end times.
Mhm.
So the interesting tidbit, the J Dubs actually in Spanish they kept it as revelaciones, revelations.
Really?
Oh.
I mean, it's not a misnomer of a title.
No,
It is like those are his revelations.
but it was pretty cool. I was like, oh yeah, that's interesting. Like revelaciones, revelations. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I would consider now. I mean, today, possibly you could
Possibly.
consider it, or maybe even the start of the Ukraine conflict
Yeah, it was earlier this year.
last year,
That was technically last year, really.
2022.
Oh man, end of the
I'm
year.
pretty sure it was.
Yeah.
I think it's been going on for much over a year.
Dang. Doesn't feel like that long, but
No. But yeah, I think maybe that conflict might be like the kickoff. But at the same time, it's like, okay, but like, do you count any of the military action that was happening in the Middle East?
Yeah,
You know, like,
as a kickoff.
is the kickoff when the U.S. left Afghanistan? Is the kickoff when Russia invaded Ukraine? Is the kick like, oh, but well, but in that token, if it is when Russia invaded Ukraine, well, is it the first time or the second time or the third time? You know, I think this is the third time they've attempted to invade Ukraine
officially, yeah,
within like the past 20 years or something like that. Since the Ukraine left,
war.
yes, since 1990.
But yeah, Israel Hamas. We were texting about it a little bit this week. It's like, man, it's weird.
It's very weird. It's very weird that it's political.
And it's not strictly left or right leaning. It does kind of seem to come down to like, say, like Christianity versus non-Christianity, but it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of. I don't know what my opinion like. So, here's my opinions. Ready? In order.
I come here for your hot takes,
and most of the time they are stupid. Let's be honest.
I'm coming us for political.
Never.
No.
My political advice, my overarching political advice, is nuke the government.
That's right. Hey, go live on a small farm off the grid in the middle of nowhere.
Exactly. Like, I'm as isolationist as it gets.
My politics policy is no politics. Vote for me.
My political party is a big circle with an A. These are my thoughts in order. One, what Hamas has done to the Israelis is horrendous and atrocious, and it should be considered a war crime. And that group of people who orchestrated and enacted this devastating attack should all be hung publicly.
Yeah, it's terrorism, straight up.
And then pissed on or something.
That's
yeah,
objective. I don't think you can argue with that.
Bring back the public hangings. They do it. Why don't we?
Yeah.
Second opinion is that Israel has every single right to march into the Gaza Strip and attempt to eradicate Hamas. Third opinion, or third thought, I don't know. Well, there's one more after this. Third opinion is that Israel needs to be really, really careful how they do this.
They do, yes.
Because, yeah, go in, eradicate Hamas, fine, great, I agree, 100%. But there's also like 2 million other people who live in the Gaza Strip who aren't part of Hamas.
Yeah.
So it's like, we don't want to be like, we don't want to be Hamas.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. It's like, at what point are you just the same thing? Like, Hamas just targets combatants and non-combatants indiscriminately. And some of the perception has been that Israel is doing the same thing intentionally, which that is subjective.
Yeah.
I don't know that, but I would agree it's the public perception. You got to be careful.
My final thought is that, and I don't know, I have many thoughts about this, and so this is not like, I think this way 100%. Like, I could be swayed on this like really easily.
Sure.
Either way. I understand both sides' frustrations.
Yeah, totally.
I get that, the Palestinians. Palestinians? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Don't want to
pretty sure
misname them.
Palestinians.
They kind of have been like their home has kind of been taken away. At least like the most recent generations. I think Israel became an official state in the 19th century or the 20th centuries.
Yeah.
I think it was.
Sure.
Yeah. And there's always been Jews living there, but it wasn't the Jewish state. It was Palestine or part of the Arab nations. And so like I get like that's kind of like if you're grandpa was Palestinian, and now you're Israeli, and you have lived in the same homestead for the past 3,000 years.
You're like, hold up.
You're like, what is going on here? And then your language changes to Yiddish or Hebrew or whatever.
Mhm.
I don't know I don't know what their official language is,
Yeah.
but whatever
Not
it is,
Arabic, yeah.
not Arabic or whatever. And it's like, but then at the same time, it's like, I mean, it is the Jewish homeland. Like, if you're claiming it, oh yeah, we've been here for 300 years. Well, like the Jews have been there for 15 or no, 2,600 years. 3,000 years.
3,000 years. 300 versus 3,000.
It's like, but then at the same time, it's like if a group of freaking Ammonites, or what's the group that Israel or the Jews ousted prior to their conquering of Jerusalem.
I mean, there were a couple different ones, but
well, there's like the people of Jericho who they trounced, and then there was a bunch of different.
Ammonites was one of them. That's sounding familiar.
There's a B one.
Yeah.
Anyway,
there's a lot of different
groups around there that, like, if you like are claiming, like, oh yeah, like who gets to claim something? It's like,
exactly. When does the claim start? Like, how far back do you recognize?
It's like, I mean, the same could be said for Native Americans.
I was just gonna get to that point, yeah.
But
you hear echoed like, give the land back to the Native Americans. Okay, which tribe?
Well, yeah, there's that as well.
Which one?
At least Israel is like one thing.
Yeah.
It's like there's the Palestinian. Like it's like such a multi-complicated,
but it's slightly less complicated than the Americas.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so if we give everything back to the native tribes, which, for the record, what the U.S. did to them, kind of crappy.
Again, similar scenario. You're like, yeah, I can see that point. That kind of sucks.
I agree with that point. That the U.S. could have handled that way differently.
Way better.
Way differently. But hindsight's 2020, and
totally.
I mean, but like if we tried to do that, it's like, okay, so we're gonna give each tribe their land back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there wasn't really borders.
Mm-hmm.
It was like territory.
It was territory that was constantly kind of shifting, and evolving as they were fighting back and forth.
Yeah, and then there's like some groups that just came in and conquered, like, and like, okay, so like we're in the area where the Apache traditionally were, but the Apache don't exist anymore. They were eradicated. Yeah. So like, do we give it back to the Apache and just have vacant land? It's like, who do we give this back to?
It's just a memorial to
yeah. It's like, okay, well, we have like the Hopi and the Pima around this area.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, like, what were their were they intermixed? Like, did we just like have like pockets of Hopi intermixed with the Pima? Like,
I don't know. How do you go? And so it's like currently Palestine and Israel, as you said, it's like a generation or two, if that. So it's like it's still very fresh.
Yeah.
Where everybody can remember being separated.
Yeah. And unfortunately, for both sides, the rules of war, the way war is done, has been changed dramatically since. It's not just like one group is like, oh yeah, by the way, we own this land now, and it's like it's not like what happened with the European countries in like Africa or South America, where like Europe just came in and said like, oh yeah, we own this now, and the native peoples are like, hey, no you don't, and they're like, I have gun, you have stick, I win this.
You're on the line here. This is our border.
Yeah, and it's like,
okay,
can't really fight it. Like Shaka Zulu tried, well, didn't work. But now you have Hamas, who has funding from other Middle Eastern countries, and they have AKs and grenades and explosives and rockets, and
you could argue, they have 21st century tech. Israel is arguably better because
20th century tech, I would say.
AKs, it's fair.
Rockets are not a new thing.
The
British were using them in the War of 1812. The British were using them in the Revolutionary War, I think.
Yeah.
They were very crude. They weren't like
Sure.
guided missiles, but they were like
we're not talking like Bernard von Braun, like actual missiles, but
no, it was a firework
you
with
have
an explode.
propelled explosives.
Self-propelled explosives.
Yeah. But yeah, Israel is arguably more just a fun.
Well, and they're not even necessarily funded by us. They purchase all of their stuff from us.
Okay.
We sell our stuff to them, and
That's a good deal.
Yeah, we're not giving it to them. No, Israel purchases I think most of the tech. Israel has a very, very, very robust military-industrial
I've
complex.
heard that. Yep, they've got the dome.
They have the Iron Dome, which we did give them.
Yeah.
Or
Reagan gave them, right?
Originally, I believe, and then I think they just keep upping their purchases from us, or they produce their own systems.
We don't have to jump into the whole. As I've seen some political pundits do, the like this conflict versus the Ukraine conflict, but that is an interesting delineation. That like we're not just throwing billions at Israel; we're getting billions from Israel. Probably.
Yeah.
So
No.
that's a nice change.
Yeah. And Israel's small arms manufacturing is top tier.
Oh yeah, totally.
They have is IWI, which is Israeli Weapon Industries. I think they have. I mean, they have the Tavor line of long guns, short guns. They're bullpups.
The bullpups.
So it's a long gun in short form.
I couldn't remember, and then you said, I was like, yes, that's right. The bullpup is Israeli. I knew that.
Yeah.
And I love that gun.
Yeah.
It's probably like
they have the Tavor. They have a shotgun version of it. You know, their handguns are maybe not like top tier, but like very, very, comparable with Glock, right?
Yeah, sure.
If not, maybe in my opinion, better. Sorry, all Glock fanboys. Jeez.
Yeah.
We
already lost one in the gun episode. That's true. Actually, I think they're kind of tough. Glocks there.
No, yeah, you own a Glock.
Yeah, I own a Glock.
I'm thinking of getting a Glock as soon as I can find the funds.
Yes.
But, well, I also have a lot of other projects that I gotta order those.
Somewhere in the docket.
Somewhere in there. I'll get one eventually.
Yeah.
Or print one. I really want to do that. 3D print one.
That would be cool.
Anyway, yeah. Those are Stephen's thoughts and hot takes on
conflict.
I think kind of closing it out, bringing it full circle.
Sure.
I think this could definitely be considered the, soft starting point of World War III.
It can go in the history books for sure.
At least as one of the lead up conflicts. This is the invasion of Poland. This is Kristallnacht. This is
Cool. Yeah.
the building of the wall.
I mean, not cool, but cool to like.
I think you could reasonably that's only if World War III happens,
right?
Which also World War III is going to be wild.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be wild.
Pretty wild.
Because if China and Russia get involved, or if Russia's already involved, but kind of,
not really.
If China gets involved, and China's like, well, Russia is invading Ukraine and Hamas is invading Israel, so I guess I'm going to invade Taiwan.
Yeah. See all the battleships we've got around Taiwan?
Taiwan would be such a war.
Yeah.
Taiwan would get taken.
Yeah.
But China would get heavily well afterwards, right?
Afterwards.
But I mean, they would take Taiwan. It's such a defensible location.
Yeah.
And they have anyway.
Not to get up on a prediction on that, I do have two insights on the Israel Hamas thing, right? Tying it back together with Christians, my first insight is wherever anyone stands on the thing, and again, I've heard a bunch this week, it's obviously just armed conflict sucks in general. It's terrible. And I've seen people just fighting back and forth. It almost seems like, okay, not enough people. And yeah, I don't know if it's just Christianity, but it's it blows. That's a huge loss of life that doesn't need to happen when we've tried for decades to have peaceful resolutions. And it sucks to see. So many people dying.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. The Christian to me obviously doesn't like that. Or close. No.
Yeah, it's. I don't mean to interrupt your second point
Yeah,
or
that's fine.
whatever, but I do agree. I mean, it's very frustrating to me
Mhm.
to see Christians and Muslims and Jews all at each other's throats throughout history. It's like,
All the time.
hey, we have the same God.
It's the same God, guys. Like,
Yahweh, our God, and Allah,
Allah.
the same guy.
It's
The same guy. We just have 3 different dudes who said, hey, God exists.
I don't know if I've met anyone who I guess I haven't talked to many Muslims directly who like contradict that. Like I've talked to Jews and they're like, oh yeah, it's the same God.
Well, Jews have to because Christianity came from Judaism.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Christianity.
The only argument there is like the divinity of Christ.
Yes.
Right, yeah, you can get off on weeds on
But freaking Muslims believe that Jesus was a prophet.
Yes, yeah, totally. So at the very least, like, okay, yeah, we're on the same page there.
It's like
Common ground here.
When I was in Mozambique, there was a lot of Muslims in Mozambique.
That's surprising.
A very large Muslim population, and Arab Muslims, not just African Muslims.
Oh, okay.
There was a lot of African Muslims as well, but Arab Muslims as well. And most of the Arab ones, not most, maybe a good portion of them spoke decent English.
Okay.
So they would, want to come practice their English on the white, Christian missionaries. And so they would come up and I had this guy come up one time and he goes, "You're Christians, yes?" Yeah, we are. He's like, "I love the teachings of Jesus." And I was like, "Okay, cool."
Me too.
And this is 19-year-old me, right? So I'm like, "Okay."
Where's it going?
And he's like, "You know what's wrong with the world?" And I said, "A lot?"
I got a list here.
And he goes, "No, the biggest problem is people don't pay their tithing." And I go,
Huh.
I was just sitting there like, what do I even say to this?
Interesting hot take. Okay.
It's like, what do I even say? Like, yeah, you're right. It's like
That was long on this.
it wasn't on the top, but like
Yes.
probably on there.
Sure.
and
Let me write that one down. Sure.
and he just he did like a little he was like he said like some little like I don't know how to say it in go with God like Shalom Allah Akbar or whatever it is.
Oh, okay.
In Arabic.
Arabic, yeah.
Or Farsi, I don't know what language.
One of the ones he spoke.
Yeah. And then he didn't know what type of Christians we were, so he did like the little cross.
Oh, nice cross. That's funny.
And I was like,
like the go with God.
And he we shook hands, and I was like, go with God or whatever. And
was that a saying in Portuguese?
Vai com Deus.
Yeah, vai com Deus. That's
Yeah,
cool.
Vai com Deus. Yeah. Or Deus esteja contigo.
Oh yeah.
God be with you.
God be with you.
Yeah, and so he just did whatever and I was just sitting there what the heck?
Yeah.
And all of the Muslims that I had contact with in ever
Mm-hmm.
have been fantastic human beings.
Super nice people, yeah. One of my dad's best friends from work is a Muslim. They chat all the time.
Yeah.
Super nice people.
And they're all really intelligent. It's really strange.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's just the ones that make it here.
Sure.
To the US or to
our sample size.
But this was also in Mozambique, which is one of the poorest countries in the world. Right?
Yeah.
Their GDP is less than what we give to Ukraine every month. And so it's
Which means, yeah, it's saying a lot.
Maybe it's not that high then. But yeah, it's just interesting.
It is.
But I really wish that the Abrahamic religions, which is what we all are,
we
right?
get along.
I mean,
yeah, that is
it's just so sad that we don't.
Again, it's the Bible or the Quran or the Torah.
Well, the Bible and the Torah, like
It's the same. That's what I'm saying. We all come
we
from
just have like
Abrahamic.
we have the New Testament.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, yeah, we've got some extra books, and then we have extra books,
Mm-hmm.
and then Muslims are like, oh yeah, Abraham, yeah, that's great, and Jesus, yeah, that's fantastic. Oh, and then also,
Also,
the Prophet Muhammad.
let's go off this other line. Yeah, down Muhammad. Down Muhammad's
Yeah, and like, if you look at the history of Islam, everyone's like, oh, Islam is like the most violent religion ever.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't think you understand religion
Yeah.
because the Jews, like, when they exodus out of Egypt.
Again, how far back are you going?
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, are you starting like from the start of Muslims or from the start of Islam? Because if it's like they're just like from the start of Islam to now, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Because the Jews have, the ancient Israelis. Jeez. I mean, Moses led them into battle.
Yeah.
Like they killed lots of people.
Absolutely.
Christians have done the same exact thing.
We've all read history books.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so like every group of people, regardless of what their overarching goal is, kind of turns into dicks.
Yeah. I was gonna say zealots, but no worries.
Those synonyms.
Religious fervor, yeah, what it did.
But it's like the only reason that Islam gets a bad rap is because they're in one of their periods of violent
It's the most
action.
modern.
And it's the most modern way to do it, and so they have guns instead of swords and sticks.
Right,
You
yeah.
know? So it's like
The Crusades was riding in battle on your horse, like for Christianity.
yeah.
And it's very different now, so
Yeah. It's like the most technological advancement during the Crusades was like the crossbow.
ooh.
Or like maybe I don't know.
So, yeah. Armor piercing broadhead spears, like
Yeah, who knows?
right.
Anyway,
Anyway,
now that we've gotten our history lesson out of the way.
Yeah. The random interesting tidbit that I saw this week, I would say this, I don't want them to catch me. I work at Intel as a contract worker.
Mm.
I don't work for Intel. It's for delineation. For all intents and purposes. I work at Intel. But Intel has a plant in Israel. Which I found out was kind of neat. And so, like, the day after this happened, the CEO put out a message. He said, "Hey, like, our folks in Israel, like, thoughts and prayers going out to you. We have, I think there's like 10,000 Intel employees, but including all the contractors and all the people that we work with there, it's up to 20,000. I want to say they had a couple like MIA or casualties.
Oh no, yeah.
The Intel family in Israel. So it's like, oh, that was kind of sad to hear. But he said for the most part, like, I didn't look at a map, but the Intel place in Israel is like far removed from the conflict. It's safe. They're still continuing operations and all that. But some employees have been drafted by Israel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was like, yeah, there's just like special circumstances for that for the employees there. Like, yeah, no, if you get drafted, you get drafted. Like, so.
Yeah.
So, wow. Yeah, it's not really something you hear about often.
No.
Like,
Well, the U.S. has similar laws
mhm.
where if you are part of the National Guard, or you're a reservist for the military in whatever branch, if you get called up for service or whatever, your boss can't like fire you.
Yeah.
They have to give you your job back when you come back.
Very, yeah.
In fact, if you're salaried, they still have to pay you
While you're gone.
Yep.
Very interesting. Yeah.
Yep.
It's cool. It makes sense.
Yeah. No, for sure.
100% approve. So that's kind of just an interesting thing to think about. I was like, oh, it's like first that we had, like, that was my closest connection to Israel. I was like, oh, my company has a factory there.
Yeah, people don't realize Israel is a massive, massive global producer.
Yeah.
Of the
chips. They make chips.
They make
That's
chips.
Intel.
They have one of the largest generic pharmaceutical companies is Israeli.
Wow.
Their headquarters are in Israel.
That's impressive.
They have offices all over the world, obviously, in Europe and the US and stuff like that. But yeah, they're Israeli. It's Teva, I think is what it's called.
Sure, I'm taking them.
Yeah, they produce generic versions of drugs.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Cool. Yeah.
Speaking of war and conflict,
There's our topic. Let's get to light topics.
we had the opportunity to play some CS2 together.
The old new Counter-Strike 2.
Okay, first of all, here's where the levity begins.
Uh-huh.
The Michael Jackson thing.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
Because they fixed the hitboxes.
They fixed the hitboxes. We've talked about that previously. That was a big complaint. That it was weird that you'd shoot a bullet this way and then a guy over here dies. Like, that's weird.
Or there was actually videos of people shooting someone in the head and then not taking any damage because the hitbox is removed from the actual visual head.
Yeah, and you're like, how do you have a game that functions like that? That doesn't even.
And so
they
fixed them, but now you can Michael Jackson moonwalk in the game.
It just means everybody's like leaning, and they're moonwalking, and it's just a party.
It's hilarious too.
It's very funny.
It's hilarious because you just see like, whoop.
yeah. It's like you never would expect the character models in like this tactical shooter game to just be going. They're standing straight, and then it's just. Why is that?
Yeah.
There's a joke with the. Rainbow Six Siege is another tactical shooter, and now when you have lean as an option, which that's not in Counter-Strike. And so my brother played a bunch of Rainbow Six Siege, like pretty, he played on mode or whatever. He got pretty good at that one. But it's like the memes of that one, the jokes that you're constantly leaning in that game.
Yeah.
So you're just walking around like leaned. You just wiggle back and forth. So that's what Counter-Strike is now. Everybody's just. Like a 30-degree angle all the time.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. But we had the opportunity to play together. We played some. We didn't play any ranked. We played we did play ranked.
We did, yeah. We did some casual.
We did some casual matchmaking,
just to
like the 10v10.
Dip our toes in.
And then we moved on to the wingman,
which was more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, the wingman was definitely. Like,
that was like really fun.
Yeah,
I mean, I had a really good time.
As you mentioned last week, I think, because it's a new game. It's like the really good people are kind of filtering out of casual. They're trying to get the MMR, the ranking, invisible ranking figured out. But so I felt like I kind of got my butt kicked in now. But then we went to actual competitive, which was 2v2. And let me just say, the 5G podcast represented.
Oh yeah, we didn't lose.
We didn't lose. We only played
3.
Yeah, 3 matches. I think 3. Yeah.
We won the first one pretty handily.
Yeah.
I think we did they win a round? I think they won the pistol round.
Maybe the pistol round.
I think they won the pistol round.
Because again, they picked terrorists, which is easy mode, so yeah.
But no, we swept them on that one after the first round we didn't lose.
Just we had a few aces in there. Both of us, I think. Yeah.
And then the second one was that the draw?
Yes.
That was a draw.
That one was a draw, which would have been. But
given one more round, I think we could have been. Yeah. Then the third one was the fun one because we were down. That was the one on the. Was that the draw? Was the draw the one where it's like the sewers?
The sewers, I think.
What was the third one that we played? What map was it on?
The Skyline, the sewers. Did we only play 2?
No, surely we played 3.
I swear we played 3. Because there's one we came back from nothing. We were down like.
I think it was like 0-6.
Yeah, and then we won 8 matches in a row.
Yeah, and won. I think that was the sewer one.
Okay, yeah, that must have been the sewer one.
What was the other one that we played? Did we only play 2?
I guess we only played 2. That one felt.
It was, but it was very fun. Because, we were down like 0-6 on the rounds,
and we were just like, all right, this one's a loss or whatever. But
and we started on CT, and we won 1 or 2 rounds on like the last rounds of CT. We won, and we were like, okay, well, at least we have a chance now. And they didn't win a round after that.
No,
when we were on Terrace, we swept them,
dude, and we figured it out. I mean, they were just doing the same thing.
They were,
and we were just mixing it up.
We were like, well. Let's both go like this way. Let's both go this way.
This side, I'll go here.
This way. Split it up.
You go long, I'll snipe. Like, yeah. Just chuck the grenades there because I know they're gonna be right there.
Yeah, Molly in this one spot, and
it was really interesting. We were just like, okay, match point. I didn't think we'd get this far. Let's do that again.
Yeah,
I guess.
And we won.
I kind of conceded, but
Me as well. I was like, I don't think we're gonna win. I was trying, so I wasn't like gonna throw it.
Yeah,
But I was like, I'm not like. I'd already given up. Like, this is fine. But yeah,
don't give up.
that's a really fun game mode though. So you should hop on again and play some of these nights.
Yeah.
But
Don't get your head about it.
especially if you're the buddy.
Yeah.
You're like you're just having fun.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal at all. Like,
Yeah, if you couldn't communicate in a 2v2, that would be kind of rough.
yeah. For sure. Well, they have a VoIP, but
Yeah.
oh well. So that's our CS2.
Counter-Strike update. It's pretty fun game.
You last week said that you were gonna do some research
Yes.
on 2 video games, Counter-Strike 2
Uh-huh.
and Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk 2077.
Now is the time to give your review.
Let me prepare my senior master's thesis or whatever. Oh, yes. In my expert scholastic opinion,
We should start a college or some sort of master's degree program that you just have to give a dissertation about a video game.
yeah, just
That'd be hilarious.
however you want, like a history of video game or analysis.
Yep.
Just that can be topics for days, but like the storytelling in video games, it's pretty unreal.
Yeah, top tier.
On most video games, you find some gems, man.
Yeah, for sure.
So you totally like you can have English classes about that. But anyway, Cyberpunk 2077, it's a great game. I mentioned that I had read articles that they came out with this new update 2.0, which was a free update if you already had the game. And it was supposed to like fix everything about the game. That this is the way the game should have been released almost 2 years ago. Been a while. I've done the research. Pretty darn good. It runs seamlessly. Not a single bug or crash.
Wow.
I got plenty of those on release. That was all the buzz about it back then. And the updated gunplay, the leveling system all feels great. The new like vehicle system and vehicle combat feels amazing, and I haven't even done all the fun stuff with that yet. But I do have a car with like machine guns on the front, which is awesome. So we can just spin around in a circle. But it's a blast. I've seen the new skill trees, the RPG, right? The leveling up, the progression just feels really satisfying. They basically have like 6 skill trees that you put in your attribute points, and so it's the classic. It's like the strength, dexterity, intelligence, whatever.
Yeah.
They just name them different things. But all of those give you different dialogue choices. So it's not just a charisma guy, but it'll be like, if somebody's talking about technology, you can be like, I know technology.
Cool. If you're
somebody's-
intelligent.
Yeah. If somebody's talking about like, I think reflexes, they call dexterity. If somebody's talking about guns, you can see it pop up. You're like, well, actually, you're dumb. I know guns better than you.
Oh, that's cool.
So it feels, as far as from a role-playing game perspective, you can really like get into your character.
Yeah.
You're like, yes, I would say this. I'm playing out my character. And so it's been a lot of fun. I've even been trying out, which I didn't do last time I played the game. Usually my metric for like a shooter video game is like, all right, if it's an RPG, it's like, I'm going to play the game with like big, heavy rifles and shotguns. Like, this is the way the game's meant to be played. And this time around, I'm doing the technology side of it, actually. They have a lot of the hacking and stuff that you can do to either help with stealth or the combat hacking.
Ooh, interesting.
In Cyberpunk, everybody's all wired up with cybernetics, so you can like light people on fire in combat, which is fun.
You're like a mage.
Yeah, basically.
No wizard.
Totally. And so I do some stealth, and I've got like, my silenced pistol and a sniper rifle that I like to use. But also I can just, in combat, I'm like, it kind of slows time. So I slow time, and I'm just like, all right, well, like, you want fire, you're going to spread poison somehow to everyone around you. I don't know how that one works. You're poisoned, and I'm just going to shut you off. Like, that's my biggest damage versus, like, I just shut off all your cybernetics, and it's just, you just, like, implode their brain. Like, and then it just like, you unstop time, and it's just like, and it's like, it all happens at once.
What the heck?
It's pretty fun. It's pretty powerful.
That's cool.
So it's been unique. It's been fun. I really like the skill trees. I'm like itching to get more experience so I can get new things.
That's good that they have like they want like you want to level up.
Yes.
Like that's good.
Because I can see all of the skills.
Mhm.
Like I'm already thinking like, oh, dude, my other character, like I would want all of this stuff. But that's that's for a different playthrough. These ones, it's like, oh, they have the smart weapons, so they have a whole portion of the skill tree that's for the that gives you aimbot on the smart weapons. But you have to have the cybernetics that lets you use it, and a lot of the skills make it better. It's just things like, oh, it's faster lock on time, and so my new favorite gun I found is it's like a bolt action one shot sniper rifle, but it's a smart sniper rifle, so it just like autos in on the guy's head, and you just pull the trigger, and then.
See, if this was like a first person shooter game, that would be broken. But in an RPG game, there's no
It's
no
single player.
Yeah, it's single player.
So
it's like who cares?
Feeling the coolest you can feel in their video game.
Exactly.
And it feels cool.
And like in that world, like I mean, we have currently in real life weapons that basically do that already.
Basically do that. Yeah.
Or at least very close to that. Like we're pretty close to that, right?
Yeah, especially like the handheld, like
Yeah.
we're miniaturizing it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think that that's like the most unrealistic thing in the world, right?
No.
But it's cool. That's cool.
It's cool. I haven't gotten to any of the new story. They released a new expansion yet. I think after I beat maybe the main story, the new expansion is like a addition / standalone. Maybe I'll buy it then to try that out. But it's like the main story's still good. I mean, they have Keanu Reeves is like himself
Yeah.
in the story. If you remember that, also
Yeah.
got a lot of media when the game came out, and so that's pretty fun. The new expansion is supposed to have, I think, Idris Elba. I want to say.
Oh,
as the
interesting.
character, yeah. I don't
Interesting.
know if he's a villain, but he's another prominent like figure that they just like motion captured. They digitized.
Do you remember Call of Duty? Oh, was it called Advanced War?
Advanced Warfare.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the one where you have like the exosuit and you like.
Yeah, you got super jump.
You remember Kevin Spacey is the main guy?
Really, I forgot about that.
Yeah, he's like the main like the boss of
That's
the
hilarious.
organization that you work for. Like like during in the storyline, he voices all of like the radio commands and stuff like that.
Interesting,
When you're trying to do whatever, and then like the cutscenes that are him at like a press conference or at like a table or whatever,
Yeah.
like talking and stuff like that. Yeah, it's Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey, that's why.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
That did not take long for that to sour.
No, this was before all the bull crap came out with it.
allegations, yeah.
So it was just funny. I was like watching. I was playing with Caleb or something like that. And I was like, wait a second, I know that guy.
That's really
Because I'd just been watching House of Cards. Which,
yeah,
you know,
which was the show he was big on.
Yeah.
at the time.
yeah. Anyway,
Not to get political, but it's kind of funny. Did you hear he's gay now? Actually, so it's okay.
Kevin Spacey is?
That's when he started claiming like, no, I was gay, and everyone's like, no, that's not what we care. That's irrelevant. That doesn't
Interesting.
make it any better.
Interesting.
Pedophilia is still pedophilia. Like, yeah. Anyway,
Anyway,
I didn't want to dive into that.
yeah, very cool. So Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk is a good game. Have I been enjoying it more than Starfield? Absolutely, 100%. I know the games are slightly different. Maybe it's not totally fair, but they're both
Futuristic shooters.
futuristic shooter RPGs, and I feel nothing about my Starfield character or that universe really at all.
Really?
Cyberpunk, I feel immersed, and the gameplay is more fun. It's different. If people are playing Starfield because they like building the ships,
Sure.
flying is not that fun. But if you like flying around space, it's just load screens. Then cool, Starfield's for you. But in terms of an RPG, I'm having a lot of fun with Cyberpunk. It reminds me more like some of the old Bethesda RPGs that I like the Fallouts and Skyrims. So
Sure.
there's things to do on the
Borderlands.
Sorry. on the way to your quest. You'll just find fun things to do. and in this vast open world that they've developed, it's amazing. Starfield,
It's a big empty world.
yeah, there's not really a whole lot to do.
That's good at least. I'm glad they finally fixed it because that was like the most hyped game of the century.
Yeah, totally.
Like,
I feel like, obviously, yeah, that lost a lot of players at the start. Every game does, but Cyberpunk lost
but
more than average.
I mean, they really. I think they really did well on it. Even at release, everyone was like, "This is a good game."
It's a good game
bugs.
when it's played.
Yeah.
And so I can give it a firm thumbs up.
Trevor approved.
Yeah, that's a great game.
Stamped. Approved.
Haven't even beat it yet. This might make it to a Trevor top 10. So.
Wow, top 10.
So at least definitely like top 10 RPGs. I play lots of different games. It's hard to have a top 10, but I'm confident. Starfield, no, that's not making any of my top 10s.
Wow.
I haven't yet.
Any of your top 10s, not even like
Top 10 worst.
Jeez. That's crazy.
Yeah. I haven't
That's
yet
crazy.
to be anywhere near as impressed with Starfield. It's like, it's fine. It's an okay game.
I mean, Halo has to be in your overall top 10, right?
Yeah.
Like, we'll consider like the Master Chief Collection as one game.
Definitely. Yeah.
So that's definitely in like.
I'm going to break that down because there's like
Yeah.
nostalgia related to some. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
just like, oh, the gameplay was fun for this one. Yeah, so Halo for sure.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Well, that's cool. I haven't got. I mean, the only like. I haven't gotten into a role playing game.
You're not a huge RPG guy.
I'm not. The one I had fun on New World with you guys.
Yeah,
But I have never hopped on that by myself.
No, yeah. Which that was a multiplayer game.
Sure.
So
Sure.
definitely is ideal.
I mean, I think the first dungeon that you go in, has to be multiplayer. Like you have to
It
do it with
does.
people.
Yeah, at least 3, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean that game was good, but it wasn't like a game that I have picked up by myself. You know. I'm trying to think of like the only game that like has a skill tree that I've ever played by myself.
Yeah.
I think it's the Sniper Ghost Warrior contracts to kill all the people with the sniper gun game Ghost Warrior 3.
Good gun game.
Good gun ghost gaming guy. Yeah, that's what I should get. Yeah, that's the only one that has like a skill tree that I like you level up on. It's not just, and that game is still very fun.
Yeah.
Single player, like nothing, like
Nice.
I'm still trying to 100% it.
Right.
But
Gotta get that. It's a perfect game.
it's been very difficult.
Did you 100% Counter-Strike 2?
Yeah,
Nice.
I did. So did you, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. The one achievement.
They only have one achievement. What's up with that?
I'm sure they'll load like some other ones in or whatever.
Hopefully.
But I was trying to 100% CS:GO, but there's some achievements that are like kill all 5 enemies with 1 grenade. It's like, how the freak am I supposed to do
I
that?
get the bots to stand in a circle.
But it has to be on a competitive server.
There's no way you're getting real people with that. Jeez.
Yeah, it's like, okay, flashbang Molly, but like, you really, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
speaking of like top 10s or top 5s or whatever,
Yeah.
my top number 1 anime is Death Note.
It's Death Note.
Because what the freak?
Isn't that wild?
Like, what the heck is going on?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he just was like, oh yeah, I give up my Death Note. Like,
As we mentioned before, spoilers from the past 15 years. If you haven't seen Death Note yet,
watch it.
we mentioned it
Watch it.
a couple times.
It doesn't matter if you're into anime or not. It's a great TV show.
Yeah.
It's just a great show.
It gets you thinking. It's very well written.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
The writing is amazing.
The sound design is super cool. I love it.
And how the main character gets out of these situations that the other main character puts him in.
Yeah.
And then they're friends now.
Yeah.
And it's like,
They're best friends.
oh, they're best friends, but they're trying to kill each other. Like, what the freak is happening here? And then there's a second one, and she has a freaking
A Death Note.
a Death Note with what's the
Oh, a Shinigami.
Shinigami?
A death god.
Yeah. And like the Shinigami like is in love with this chick, and so like
it's a very different relationship from the main character.
Yeah, with Ryu.
Ryu, like, I'm just here to watch.
He's like, this is a good time, and I get apples,
Humans are entertaining.
and I get apples.
He likes it.
Apples are like heroin in this for Shinigami apparently or whatever. So yeah, but
it takes you on a trip. That's what I've been trying to tell you. Like without spoiling anything from the beginning, I was like, Death Note just keeps ramping up.
Dude, like I'm a fan, man.
When from episode 1 or 2, you're like, oh, this is insane. Like this show can't get any cooler. It's such a cool idea, and then it just keeps
it ramps like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It does. It really does.
You're at the point that they're friends now, and they're trying to kill each other. The main character,
but they still just like obviously the main character
still testing
each
other. Yeah,
and he just got thrown in jail by his best friend for like 2 months. It's like what?
Because he was trying to prove that he wasn't the criminal that's been killed.
Yeah, and then like day 4 or whatever, he gives up his death note, and then the main pro antagonist like keeps him in jail for another 45 days or whatever. It's like what the? And then he does this thing where his dad's supposed to like kill him. It's like what the heck?
Yes.
And I definitely thought his dad was gonna kill him.
Right.
I was like, oh, like this is just like the end of this, and then like we move on to the second Kita as like the main character now.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Yeah.
They got me.
That
like they got me. I was like,
I was watching that again too with my wife, and I was just like, dang, this episode, this seems intense. Like,
yeah,
crazy this was.
They like sold it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not even in the like. If I was in that situation, I'd be like, yeah, I'm dead. I'm gonna die.
This is
like my dad's gonna kill me.
The dad is like, I know you're the criminal, and they're gonna come and hang you or whatever. I'm just gonna finish the job myself and then kill myself.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And you're like,
what?
What the freak?
Yeah. So yeah, our protagonist, the bad guy, gave up his memory so he doesn't have to like act anymore. He doesn't have to pretend that he's not. He knows he's not the bad guy. Which is insane.
Yeah, it's so crazy. I'm sure that they're gonna figure out how to get him the Death Note back.
Yeah, you know he's got some plan behind the scenes. They've shown that a little bit.
Yeah, because he buried it underneath a tree.
Yeah.
It's just so crazy.
Right? So it's like, how does this all
and his
work out?
girlfriend, chick, not my favorite character.
No.
Pretty annoying, but like I think that's the point.
She gets a little bit better, but it is mostly that's is the point. Is that?
Yeah, I mean it's supposed to be a hindrance to life.
It's to him, yeah, totally.
And so, but he uses her to like help him and stuff like that, and it's it's a wild ride for sure, but super good. I'm
top 1 anime, top 10 anime for Steven.
Well, definitely my top 2.
Yeah, of the 2 you've seen. Or 3, or
if we count
Avatar.
Invincible,
yeah.
Invincible and Avatar: The Last Airbender are the other 2.
There you go.
Isn't Invincible season 2 coming out here soon?
I think by the end of this year, I'm pretty sure they're starting November maybe.
Because don't they have like that one chick as like a side series like
I didn't watch
Adam chick or whatever. Adam, yeah. It's a strange name
because it's Adam. She does look at the
yeah. I haven't watched it at all.
No. I was waiting for season 2. I like the main character better than Invincible.
Yeah. Man, that show was crazy.
That was cool. We'll probably be watching that one when that rolls out.
We should watch that one together.
Yeah, that'd be sick, yeah.
I should get Ryan to watch that and we could all watch it together.
I think, yeah, my wife watched it, actually. She watched season 1 later, just recently.
Dude, that show, episode 1, you're like, yeah, it's okay. That's okay. And then like the last 5 minutes, you're like, what the freak just happened?
Yeah, my wife just skipped that part. She's like, I've seen this on TikTok. I don't need to see that again.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's like
it's pretty violent. But that's the most violent the show really gets.
The last episode?
The last episode was
that might be like the most like concentrated amount of violence in the show.
So.
But like not every episode, but like most of the episodes are like
it's adult animation for sure. There's some violence, and
it's like at some point you're like ooh. Yeah. Even me as a guy and like I've seen stuff and all that whatever.
You're desensitized.
I am. Even I was like whoa.
that's a bit rough.
Yeah, and like tears the guy's face off or whatever. You're like what the?
She's their head.
Yeah,
he's got super strength. Like
it's like what the heck.
Oh yeah, that is how Superman would kill people in real life.
Yeah, Superman after seeing Invincible is such a weenie.
Yeah, he just punched.
Very pusillanimous.
punch.
Yeah.
Oh, and then they go flying.
And it's like, okay, if someone with super strength and laser eyes, like, first of all,
You could invent a number of ways to kill people.
that would be.
Super
I mean, you would not. You could entertain yourself for days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. It shows that.
I'm gonna get Ryan to watch Invincible because that show, like that's just a good show.
It is very.
And
good
we watched Avatar: The Last Airbender together, and she really liked that.
Yeah, there you go.
And so I feel like it's American anime still, so and it's a good show.
Yeah, totally.
It's got enough adultness and enough like teen drama,
Yeah.
which is something that people still love, like even into adulthood, is like
Sure.
the teen drama stuff. Probably because we grew up on that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a great show. I hope Amazon doesn't screw up the second season.
Second season, yeah. From what I know, the original creator of the is still like very much hands on with it. So that's everything I've heard. He's keeping them straight. So.
And man, Amazon has so much potential just to be the biggest powerhouse in media. I mean, they already kind of are because
there's still plenty of competition right now.
Barely. In my opinion, Amazon and HBO are the only two that are competing right now.
Netflix has fallen out of favor.
And they're making poor business decisions.
Yes.
They're making horrible business decisions. It's like Hulu. Like,
yeah.
Hulu was a great idea for like a low budget TV show spot, right?
TV, yeah.
TV, and you paid like $5 a month. And then they're like, oh yeah, by the way, now we have a $10 tier without any ads. And so now I'm paying $5 a month for TV.
Yeah, which is still cheaper than cable.
It is, but it's a lot more limited than cable.
Yes.
And so it's like, and these TV shows are not like, they're not groundbreaking TV shows. It's like, and then they just went completely off the deep end.
Totally.
And then
their saving grace now, and again, I don't know how that business deal happened, is that they're connected to Disney and ESPN now.
Well, yeah, Disney owns. Well, I think I don't remember. I think ESPN owns Hulu, and Disney owns ESPN.
Gotcha.
I think that's how that works.
It's connected.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly. And then they're somehow connected to Spotify as well.
Oh, really?
Because if you buy Spotify, you get Hulu, like the free version, or like the cheapest tier of Hulu for free or something like that.
They're finding ways to stay afloat.
Yeah, I mean, they must be doing something right, but I think Netflix is going kind of that same way where it's like the shows that they used to produce and have on Netflix were fantastic.
Yeah.
Like the Netflix produced shows were fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And then now it's just like cheap, mediocre.
It's so politicized.
Oh my gosh.
And
they're just shoving it down your throat.
They get destroyed in the media for that because people they don't want that anymore.
No. It's just getting shoved down your throat, and it's like, I don't necessarily care if you have a message in your TV show, as long as it's like subliminal.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, that can be you could get that message from that show.
It's like, leave it up to a little bit of interpretation. Let's have like intelligent viewers here.
Uh-huh.
You know?
It's a choose your own adventure novel. You decide how it ends or how the takeaway.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and then I just think like the only companies that are producing good like content are HBO. Some of their original series are fantastic.
Totally.
And Amazon Prime. And Amazon has some hits and some misses.
Yeah.
Like, I think they might be, they might be able to rescue Rings of Power. They've
already bought in for like 3 seasons.
3 seasons, yeah. Each one is $300 million.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it looks great. The show, like...
Oh, sure.
The first season, it looked fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
The writing could be... It could be better. Could be better.
Yeah.
I think what they should have done is, instead of make 3 seasons, make 2 of 15 episodes instead of 10.
Oh, sure. they fall into that problem that a lot of shows do. Is like, would you need 10 episodes, whatever.
And they really, if they wanted to make a better story, they should have done 2 seasons of 15 episodes. Because the first season was just character development for 5 episodes.
Yeah.
Or 6 episodes. And you're like...
They're writing a brand new story with some old characters and some new characters.
Yeah.
But even the old characters, it's a new story, so you need new character development, I guess.
Yeah. Well, you do, because we never have learned this part of their character. Like, in Lord of the Rings, the characters that exist now are more static and don't have any character development necessarily.
Yeah. If they weren't main characters, for instance.
Yeah. Like Galadriel. Like in the series, she's like the queen of the elves. That's it.
Yeah.
And she's like the oldest one or whatever. She's billions of years old.
Mm-hmm.
In the show, she's like not billions of years old. She's like a couple hundred. And anyway.
Yeah.
So and they have Henry Cavill with the Warhammer stuff.
Yes, that's.
I'm hoping that's good.
Waiting for more news on that one.
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped for that.
The one streaming service I've been turned on to by my dad, he showed me, is Tubi.
I've heard of Tubi.
They're coming up. They're not designing their own stuff. They're not totally branching in that space yet, and I don't really want them to. Tubi feels like cable, or feels like old Hulu used to be.
Oh,
you
interesting.
literally just watch TV, and they have ads.
Is it free?
Yeah, it's totally free.
So it's just cable?
It's just cable.
But free?
I don't know how they're getting away with it, but it's just free. Yeah, and it's like their selection is very vast and varied. Like, just talking with my dad, they have a lot of like old sci-fi shows on there.
Oh, cool.
Or movies that we've been watching, like Stargate. I saw last week.
Oh, cool.
Like, it's pretty sick. And then just like muted when the ads pop up, and I have like the TV above my computer, so I just muted it and unmuted it while I was doing something else. Like, Tubi is actually pretty good. I'm kind of high on that one right now.
Cool. I'll have to check it out.
Totally.
I don't watch Christmas TV anymore or any shows.
I don't terribly, but I thought like just to throw something on.
I prefer YouTube over everything, basically.
I agree. Yeah,
just because of the variety of content on there.
Consume more YouTube.
But I think our last topic probably.
Yeah.
How much time have we got left?
A little under 20.
Okay, so maybe not our last topic. What do we got? I think we had let's see. Oh, here we go.
Oh yeah.
The Wizards of the Coast boycotting.
Yes.
So, this was our very brief conversation yesterday. You texted me that the almost said Lord of the Rings. the Whovians are getting their day in with Magic cards.
On to the next Magic sets, Steven. Come on, it's never ending release.
Yeah, it kind of feels that way.
I saw a movie this week. You know, the one that's like the super skinny cow and the farmer walks up with all the buckets to milk them. It's like the Magic players, and it's like Wizards of the Coast with new spoilers. It's like spoiler season is only 10 days away. Come on.
It's
for the next set. It's dinosaur themed.
That's kind of cool.
It will be kind of cool. Yeah.
I might buy it.
They're having a Jurassic Park addition to that one.
I've seen some of those actually. Yeah. They have the
what is she called? The Gigantosaurus Rex.
Indominus Rex.
Indominus Rex. Yeah, she's on a card already. So
anyway,
Doctor Who.
The Doctor Who set has yesterday. So by the time this episode releases, they'll be a week old. But the current episode, though, that came out
today,
will come out in 3 hours.
We talked about.
It was actually very well planned on our part.
Yes,
we definitely planned it 100%.
We're trying to gather all the clickbait, all the hype around the Doctor Who.
We even named it.
Yeah,
Doctor Who cards are broken or something like that. Yeah. As the title of the episode. Anyway,
they're officially
out, and there are some good cards in the Doctor Who set. Like
all the cards,
they're pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking, and we were like, "Are we gonna?" Because you've been boycotting Wizards of the Coast purchasing any of their stuff because if they can print paper, I can print paper. And I've been following suit, not like because I have a strong opinion about it.
Not religiously.
It's cheap.
Yeah,
it's cheaper. I gave Caleb $3 to print out my
I like to save money.
Then I use penny sleeves and random Strixhaven draft box cards to.
Your penny sleeves are ripping in game. You're like, yeah, I don't care. They're penny sleeves.
One of them did rip on Thursday in one of my lands.
Doesn't matter. They're pieces of paper.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So your boycott continues, though.
I think so. I wasn't super tempted going into spoiler season. I was like, it's Doctor Who. Like, I saw it. I enjoyed the show, but I'm not a crazy huge fan or anything. And I thought some of the cards were a little cringe, but in other scenarios, I was like, these are kind of cool, actually, in terms of card designs. It's kind of neat. Some of the story elements that they captured, I think they did really well. So overall, I'm like, all right, that's cool. That's fine. But, like, cards are pretty good. I almost consider like, I would use that card in probably like 3 different decks. Like, we play Commander. This is a whole Commander set. There's something like 70 new legendary creatures out of 200 something new cards.
I didn't realize there was that many. Wow.
Yeah. So there's tons of new Commander pairings with the new, like the Doctor's Companion.
Yeah.
Tons of new deck building ideas. So I'm like, I could build some decks from this. There's a lot of cool card design ideas here. That from a strategy game viewpoint just gets you thinking, gets the gears grinding.
Yeah, for sure. There was a couple cards where even with my limited knowledge of Magic the Gathering, I was like, dude, this guy seems sick. Like, I feel like there's like a bunch of decks where you like the food stuff you could create with something like that one Doctor.
There's a couple of the ones I saw.
I was like,
they have a lot of green blue like food, and it's like, ever since we saw the goose,
I know
the goose Hydra from Eldraine, green blue food is kind of new.
I was kind of mad that she wasn't solid green.
Yeah,
because I would have put her in my big stompy deck.
Yep,
my mono green deck.
Yeah, and I would put her in my food deck. That's everything.
Also,
but blue.
Mono green deck, 2 for 2.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Well, 1.5 for 2.
1.5 for 2.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with his performance so far.
It's working good.
You know, turn 5, 11.
You consistently get out the biggest creature the fastest.
So. Oh yeah, well, and that's what the deck is designed to do that, right? So it's like
it is very fun.
Anyway, sorry.
Yes, Doctor Who. I'm tempted to get the cards because they are good. Now, right at release, they're always marked up. Every Magic product is always marked up at release. So it's like, in terms of financial advice from the 5G podcast, I wouldn't recommend anybody buy anything on release.
Wait a month.
Yeah, wait a month or 2 if you can, and usually prices drop on Magic the Gathering product. Because there's a lot of like local game stores out there that just gouge you. Everyone is like, support your local game store, whoop-a-doo. But I've seen so many shady game stores where I'm like, you're the consumer, you do what's best for you. Like, don't support your local game store if they're gouging you on prices. Do some research, look it up online.
Yeah.
It sucks for like the average mom who doesn't know anything and she's just buying cards for her kid. The game store is like, when there's no official MSRP, but when these decks should be like $50
and they're 80.
Yeah, and the game store's like, yes, these are $80. This one is $90 because it's better. And the mom's like, oh, well, it's my kid's birthday. I'll buy the good one, $90. So,
yeah.
Unfortunate, but it happens.
When we open our game store, we should do like the upfront pricing thing where it's like, we bought this for $30.
Yeah.
We're selling it to you for this markup because of overhead and then this markup for profit. And that's the total price.
Yep.
We'll just have a binder at the front of the store like, these are our prices.
There you go. Yeah.
Like,
it's fair. We're transparent. Here's the distributor prices. And obviously we need to make profit. So
yeah, like
that's how business works. But I don't need to gouge you. Like,
no.
When I know you could just go online and buy this for $50, why would I try to scam you with 80?
Yeah, exactly.
The Commander's Master
bullcrap
did decks that were over 100 when they
and
were
not good.
No,
especially compared to this Doctor Who.
Yes, exactly.
And this
one of my big complaints about that one was the mana bases were trash. The reprints were terrible in those decks. Reprints in this one pretty good. The villain, the evil Doctor deck. It's red, black, blue. I think they have a total of like 6 basic lands in that deck, which is impressive for a precon. That means they have a lot of good like dual lands.
Yeah.
That fix your color.
Is that the one with the
Daleks?
No, is that the Dalek one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They have the Daleks, the Cybermen, and some of the evil Time Lords.
What's the evil Time Lord that copies himself?
The Master.
That guy looks sick.
That guy, that's cool.
Because you copy him when he attacks, and then those copies make copies, and copy.
If you have anything else that makes copies, that also makes copies. It's not limited to just him.
Like when a creature attacks, create a copy of it that's tapped and attacking.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, okay, well, I attack and I make 2 more. Oh, but actually I make 5 more.
And the next turn, they all do it again because you don't have to get rid of them.
No, it's pretty fantastic.
So and again, some of the Dalek stuff look cool.
Yeah.
It'd be fun because
I like this. Yeah,
they make chunky tokens.
Yeah,
They're
3/3 with Menace.
With Menace,
that's beefy.
That's a big deal.
That's a beefy boy. Like
even if I have like 5 of those out, what are the odds you have 10 blockers?
I mean,
I'm getting some damage through.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas it's like, yeah, you might not even consider blocking. You're like, that's not worth it. It's just a 3/3. I don't want to spend 2 blockers on that if he's just going to kill my 2 mana dorks.
Yeah.
Either way, it's good.
Yeah, but 10 of them hit you and you're down to 25% of your health. You're like, freaking A. Yeah, it's
some cool cards. I'll probably build some decks around it, at least digitally. And I have been tempted to drop the boycott to buy at least some singles.
I don't think that's necessarily that would be you'd just buy them off of a TV player, right?
That's the secondary market anyway, which is how I bought most of my product. But on occasion, yeah, I'd buy Wizards of the Coast product direct.
Yeah,
but it's been nice to save money as well. So
it's also true.
Again, it's not just a religious.
And also, like,
I hate Wizards.
I've been thinking of like because I have the 2 proxy decks, right? I've been thinking of buying the actual commander.
Oh yeah,
just to have the nice, colored card, and it doesn't change anything because it's not in your deck, so shuffling it doesn't feel different or anything like that, So I've been thinking of doing that.
There's definitely some aspect of it I haven't totally captured because I like the idea of like print your own pieces of paper. It's a game. You're there to play a game with your friends. It's casual. Who cares? But then there is something about having the
there 100% is
game pieces, and I haven't totally captured that. I haven't totally put that into words yet. Of like the process of going to a game store, either by myself or with friends. That's ties in. Buying the cards, and then you're sleeving them up. You're putting them together. You're like, these are my cards. I own these.
Yeah, there is something that I have also noticed that to a slight degree with my 2 proxy decks, where I'm like, this isn't. I mean, I love the decks because they're decks that I've built with help from you, obviously. But I mean, I feel like I put together like
I looked at
the Jund deck. You had definitely a better influence because that's a bit more of a complicated deck than.
You wanted to advice on a combo deck.
Yeah, the big green Stompy deck. I feel like I put that together, and you made some.
And then I was like,
suggestions. Yeah, I didn't have nearly enough mana.
That was really my main.
Yeah, you were 100% correct on that. So I had to get rid of some random stuff that was like adjacent to the strategy, but nothing like crazy.
Worth cutting for sure.
Yeah, but I've also been thinking of, and I'm not boycotting them out of any. I don't have enough.
Buying
power or anything like that, or not even that, but like
that's why
long-standing opinion or long-standing customer. I'm not a long-standing customer, right?
That's what I'm saying. My religious fervor.
Yeah, I don't have any justification to have a boycott, right? Because I don't have the time behind it like you do. But yeah, I've been thinking of buying at least the commanders, just because they're get the nice Sek Kuar. Is my Jund deck commander.
Foiled.
The foil, yeah, exactly. Be kind of nice, but we'll see.
They have alternate arts. Getting the alternate arts. Some of the doctors have alternate arts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they're selling the 4 commander decks, and they're selling collector boosters. If you don't have any new cards, it's just alternate art of the cards in the decks, which should help the secondary market, I think.
Honestly, I do think that. I think one of the most fun things that we've done as a friend group is draft box stuff.
Ripping open booster packs.
It's so much fun.
And playing with them.
It's so much fun.
That is one of my favorite ways to play Magic.
We should do it. I have that Brothers War stuff. We'll do it for like Thanksgiving or something.
We have less Magic players in town now.
We got 5 of us.
Yeah, that's enough. We've done it with 4.
Who else could?
Technically, my little brother and I have done it with 2. There is a variation of rules they call the Winston draft, which is the last we've done that before.
Interesting.
It's a lot of fun.
Who could we? Let's see. We could get us 5. Collins brothers.
Oh yeah, they're sometimes down for that. Yeah.
He's got 2 brothers who could do it.
The schedule just doesn't always work out. Yeah.
Yeah, we could figure it out. It'd be very fun to do them though.
I love booster drafts. That is 100% the way to play. They design cards like random garbage commons and uncommons. Don't see play in commander decks. They don't see play in competitive formats. But they design those cards to be played.
Yeah.
And so the draft is the way when you're like, what is this card? I've never seen this before. And then you play it in a game, you're like, this card's really good.
And then you like think about how can I use this, and you're like,
I'm going to put it in my commander deck, and then it sucks.
That's what I want to do that with, because I want to build a Strixhaven deck out of the cards that I got out of the Strixhaven box. And I was looking at the legendaries that I could make out of and I was like,
these kind of suck.
Because I have them all digitized, right? I've scanned all of my cards.
That's sweet. Yep.
And I was like, I can't do anything with this. There's nothing I could maybe try to do it
in your brain thinking about it.
But... Yeah, I was like, there's no cool combo. You could try. Or you could make it a face commander, then have a secret commander or something like that. Maybe it was
even some of the extra legendaries from Doctor Who. I've thought about. I was like, that might be a fun deck to play once. It's kind of simple. There was one cool one. I said that I didn't see in spoiler season at all. It's just a Boros red white, which has long been touted as the weakest color combination. It's like a, I'm probably getting it wrong, but the idea is it's like a 2/2 with double strike, and when it deals combat damage, it explores, which has a long reminder text. But basically, you look at the top card of your library. If it's a land, you draw it. And if it's not a land, you put a 1/1 counter on your commander, and it just stays there on top, or in the graveyard, I think. And the commander has double strike, so you can do that twice. So on the first strike damage, you deal 2, and then maybe she gets a counter. It's a she on the card. So, then she'll do 3 damage to double strike. I was like, oh, that'd be kind of fun. You get double damage triggers, and you get 1/1 counters, and then I was like, that's not good. It sounds kind of fun to play once, but
that's a long, boring game.
Yeah,
for you.
Commander has a double strike, but maybe you're drawing lands, which is something red and white has a problem with. But
yeah. I don't know.
All
right,
should be fun.
Yeah,
Magic's fun. It's good.
I'm excited to see the dinosaurs now that you've mentioned it. We'll see how those are. We'll have to do another episode with those spoilers. I'm sure we will. It's yeah.
We've got a few minutes left. I don't have a whole lot to say. There's not really a whole lot of news. In your opinion, since we always end up talking about business and video games, Microsoft just finalized their acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Is that a monopoly?
Well, the courts say no.
The courts say no.
But I don't think that they are. I don't think that this could be considered monopolistic at all. Honestly.
But it is definitely turning into just one big video game conglomerate. The AAA studios are combining.
But Microsoft doesn't have any other studios under them, do they?
They have Bethesda.
Microsoft owns Bethesda? Mm-hmm. I didn't know that.
That's one of the biggest
ones. Oh, I didn't know that.
Halo is under Microsoft. But then they own Bethesda Studios too.
Microsoft owns Halo as well?
Yeah.
Who made Halo? Wasn't it?
Originally it was Bungie.
Yeah.
After Halo Reach, they sold it to 343 Industries.
That's right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And so they've made Halo 4 and Halo 5.
The Master Chief Collection, probably.
They helped release the Master Chief Collection and doing updates.
And 343?
343, yeah.
Is owned by Microsoft?
Yeah. Yeah, they're still owned by Microsoft. So.
Yeah.
So.
That's a good... I didn't realize that both of those were...
Microsoft's
Although 343, let's be honest, Halo is not the most... I mean, it's not a massive game studio.
No.
Necessarily.
Yeah.
They made one game or one game series that was uber successful.
Yeah, that's their game series.
But they're not, they're not Bethesda where they have multiple different titles and genres, right?
Yeah, so now
they're not Activision Blizzard who has... Yeah.
It's all under one umbrella now. Pretty soon we're going to be playing Master Chief, Overwatch, Starfield.
No, I don't think that anything like that will ever happen.
No.
I don't find it to be. I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily.
No.
I think it's actually, as long as it's done right, which, so far has not been the case.
Yeah. Right.
When did Bethesda get purchased by Microsoft?
I couldn't tell you.
Prior to or post Skyrim?
I want to say prior.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just because
I want to say prior.
you get bought by a big company
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that you start making crappy games.
Yeah, exactly. If anything, for the consumer, it'll probably just be like easier now. Like maybe you get Call of Duty on Game Pass, the Microsoft
Exactly.
Game
Even
Pass.
Starfield's on Game Pass.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe you get your favorite Blizzard games on Game Pass or whatever. Like that'll probably all that will really affect the consumer. It'll just be like more convenient to play things, and that's at the end of the day. All of the corporate stuff doesn't affect you, so who cares?
Yeah, as long as they're still able. The big crux is as long as they're able to produce games that the consumer wants to play still.
And so long as to do that, you still need a healthy competition. And I think there's still plenty of healthy competition.
Oh, certainly. I don't think. I mean,
I read a couple
think about
articles.
Tencent.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
fair.
they're a massive conglomeration who produce some of the most successful games.
Mm-hmm. I read a couple articles that were already like doom posting of just like, oh no, it's the end of video games. And in my little bit of research I did on this topic,
That's such a stupid take.
totally.
Because, I mean, in some instance, like, for example, if you have Microsoft could be considered monopolistic when it comes to the operating systems of computers.
Sure.
It's Apple or Microsoft. Those are your two choices.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you can technically do whatever, but
It's those two.
it's those two. But with video games, the barrier to entry is so low.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I wanted to, I could go home on my computer and learn how to make a video game.
Yep.
And then I could put it on Steam for sale. Or I could put it on Epic for sale.
Totally.
And I could do all of that by myself. And you know what? If it makes money, great. If it doesn't, I had a good time doing it, right?
Cool.
Like, for a big company to buy another big company is like, Microsoft obviously sees huge growth potential in Activision Blizzard.
Yep. Totally.
Or they see some opportunity for growth.
Mm-hmm.
And for them to come and buy it is a good thing because it indicates that there is still growth opportunities in the video game space.
Still healthy, yep.
I am of the opinion that the video game space is in its nascent form right now.
Yeah.
I think that we're going to see Ready Player One level stuff.
That's fair. I think it's definitely a good time to be a gamer. There's a lot happening. There's a lot of fun games out there.
I do think that we are in a stalled period right now in terms of
technological advancement.
Well, in story writing.
Oh.
I don't think there's been a super compelling storyline, or there are obviously exceptions to this rule.
Yes.
But it's not, back in
the birth of video games, like in the early 2000s, 1990s, when home computer games were man, you got some good stories.
Well, I'm even thinking in like the 2010 era with Halo and Call of Duty and all of these big name games that were all
Blizzard used to write insane stories.
Yeah.
Not so much now, but
I just think that probably what happens is the same thing that happens with every business that it has ever existed. Is that once you get too big,
the money.
Well, not even the money necessarily. There is that aspect. There is that aspect for sure, certainly.
Yeah.
But I think the main crux of the problem is the corporatism.
Yeah, sure.
Where instead of having the creators designing the creative things, you have the CFO designing the creative things, and the accountants designing the creative thing.
As we've talked about before, it does seem to be a big issue.
And let the creatives. I mean, it would. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Because the creatives are the ones who made the game successful.
Again, to get into the weeds again, but a lot of Japanese companies actually, I mean, the guy at the head of the company is still the guy with the original vision for the game.
And that's great.
Really cool to see.
But even Nintendo, who's been around for 150 years or something like that.
Something wild.
They didn't obviously start in video games.
Yeah,
I think they started in paper. I don't remember, like playing cards or something like that, maybe?
That sounds about right, actually.
I don't remember exactly.
Nintendo fanboys in the comments instruct us on our trivia. But...
Yeah. But I just think that, they still produce good stuff.
Yeah.
And so I don't think that necessarily becoming a massive corporation is a bad thing for video games, but I think you have to be careful what you do. So I'm hopeful that Microsoft is able to increase the capital that Blizzard Activision has, the operating capital that they have, so that they can hire more creatives or hire people that have some sort of desire, or just reach out and absorb some small game companies that have produced a fantastic game but just need the big name brand behind it,
just need the funding,
the sale to and maybe it needs a little bit of fine tuning, maybe the coding is a little bit buggy or whatever, right? But the idea, the creativity behind it is fantastic, and so
it's better for consumers, it's better for them as a business. If we can all progress, that's great.
Do you know if the and this might be getting into the weeds a little bit, do you know if the purchase was stock or cash or a combination?
I believe it was a combination. I know the CEO of Activision Blizzard is leaving, and with like $500,000 in his pocket. No, sorry, $500 million. That makes more sense.
I was like, $500,000 is like chump change.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Half a billion? That's a lot.
He's taking off. So I know some of it was stock.
Probably most of that is stock, though.
I think so. Yeah.
Usually.
He's retiring.
Yeah. How old is he?
60-ish.
Oh, okay. So it's reasonable.
Yeah.
It's not like he's 25.
No.
Gotcha.
But I wanted to end with, speaking of the cost, just a funny little note to end it on. I don't know if you saw how much they bought it for. If you had to take a guess.
Probably around the 7 mark.
7 billion.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I guess I gave you the $500 million.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm.
Just the CEO first. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm guessing around 7.
What the Microsoft, big company, bought Activision Blizzard, also a big company, for the grand total of $69 billion.
If I were selling a company, I would ask for $69 billion.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Actually, I'd probably ask for $69,420,000,000.
I think again,
I would love to see a check with that on it.
I read somewhere it was actually like 68.7 and change, but everyone's rounding up to 69 billion.
Because why not?
Nice.
Because of course.
Because it's hilarious.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. I'm 25 years old and I still snicker at that. It's still funny. Sorry.
I think you're 2 years younger than me.
Yeah. It's a funny number.
Yeah.
69.
That is very funny.
Speaking of Keanu Reeves, we're coming all the way back around.
Oh, geez.
The Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. You see that movie? Hilarious. They're like, they meet themselves from the future. They're like, oh, but how do I know that it's you from the future? Because they're like stoner dudes from the 80s. It's like, well, what number am I thinking of? And then they both go, 69 dudes. Yeah. So it's hilarious. Keanu Reeves is in that movie. It's great.
My mom loves that movie.
It's a funny number. That's a hilarious movie. It doesn't matter who you are. So. Transcends the decades.
Alrighty. Well, that's we'll end with 69.
69 dudes.
Nice. We'll have to we'll have to see what comes of the Activision Blizzard stuff. But
yeah. Interesting.
There she is.
Thanks for watching this week's episode of the 5G Podcast. We hope you enjoyed.
As always, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this content.
We're available on all social medias, as well as you can watch or listen to us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts.
Again, thanks for watching, and we hope to see you next week.
Thanks.